Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the cafe, the courthouse, the combination courthouse cafe. I am yawning. We're off to a good start. I am, as always, your immaculate hostess barista. Last time on Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Phoenix is still in the hospital because he tried to run across a burning bridge to get to Maya. So he's in the hospital. So we've been conducting this investigation as Edgeworth at his request. Not only that, we're going to trial now. And Gumshoe asked him, what about the prosecutor? What about the judge? Apparently, Edgeworth's got that all figured out. He's got a prosecutor of his own choosing, or so he says, and the Canadian judge who he's only ever met once. So I guess there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's dive right in. February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 1.
Oh my, Mr. Loris feels that way about me?
Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Loris is the witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Donim, correct?
That is correct. It wasn't me.
Very well, then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements.
I see.
Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. The word friend is doing a lot of carrying there, buddy.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
February 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. Not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. Okay, we did it. Good job. Court adjourned. Thanks for coming, everybody. Da 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 da. No, obviously not. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
The prosecution stands ready. And you are Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma.
Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case.
You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once.
I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor.
Ms. von Karma, do you have anything to say?
There is no such weakling as this man amongst those of the prosecutor's office.
Damn!
There isn't. But I'm sure, once before, in this courtroom. Ah!
I told you there is no such weakling.
What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. But bailiff, remove that whip at...
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip.
You don't?
Prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today.
This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix right here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers.
I see you brought your flair for the histrionic.
One little detail I do like, he does have the defense badge pinned onto his lapel there. It's a cute little detail. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court.
Ah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. von Karma, please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible.
Nova's over here in the chat popping off because they knew it. They called it.
Yes, you did. But I very well couldn't tell you that. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't have the same effect as the whip crack and the music and everything.
The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donim.
Oh.
Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue.
The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Crime photo added to the court record. The courtyard where Elise Donim was murdered.
There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime.
Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand.
And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney.
Oh no, she's so small!
Witness, state your name and occupation, please.
Hold on there. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all.
Judge, please.
Witness, please stand up nice and straight.
Just like me, for real. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness.
Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please.
Whoop. There we go.
Once again, your name and occupation, please.
Little old me, well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. The judge is flabbergasted.
But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now.
Ah! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once.
You want me to leave?
No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that.
Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your— A boot! First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? In case it wasn't obvious how Canadian he is. You gotta slip that in there. The night of the murder.
That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back. That's when I saw it.
So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple?
Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple.
That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made.
There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, are you, Miles Edgeworth?
No. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Night of the murder. Well, let's see what we've got first. Because I don't remember what we've got for evidence. Okay, we've got her staff with her fingerprints. The apparent murder weapon has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints. The scroll that has Misty on it. Iris's hood that she gave to Phoenix. Iris's note. Map. The weather data. Snow with occasional lightning strikes. Snow 7 to 10:50. Lightning 10 to about 11. Lightning struck at 10:45. Okay. The magazine that has the picture of the two of them. Larry's picture of Elise. Iris's testimony. Rang lights out bell at 10 p.m. and then was in her room until the murder was discovered. Elise's autopsy report. Loss of blood from stab and back. Body fell 10 feet after death. That seems important. Then the photo that we just got. Let's see. My back likes to act up. I left Iris to help the acolyte. But Iris herself said she wasn't there.
Objection!
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights-out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that?
A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back.
Objection!
But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. This is true. You love that you pinpointed Fran like that. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes. Wah!
All people lie. That is my belief.
Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means we must call your memory into question.
Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Damn.
Yeah, because she's like 40-something. She's 48. We don't have a profile for the Canadian judge. I accidentally hit the options menu again. Well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you're going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show a more decisive piece of evidence.
Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick.
And please add your comments about a boot Iris to the testimony.
I can't get over it. A boot. 'Cause Phoenix isn't here and she isn't gonna whip Miles as far as we can tell.
No, she does not want to beat him physically. She wants to beat him on the field of battle.
And let us return to the cross-examination.
That night I was helping an acolyte with her training. The back acts up. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner.
But that's not true. Because before she went and rang the bell for lights out, she gave the hood to Phoenix.
Objection!
Witness, let's get one thing straight. It's not me. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course! That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wahahaha, wahaha, haha. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Hold it right there! Why do you have that?
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma?
Then he's her little brother. Yes, her big little brother. I knew you were gonna say that. Say what? Make the joke of, you know, Miles not being straight? Fork found in kitchen?
I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night. Before the lights out bell was rung.
What?
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Hello, Griffin. How you doing tonight?
Well, well, well! Oh wait, look at the box! It's like more than half her height. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it.
Order! Order in the court!
Sister! This hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you?
Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange. Ah!
If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here.
Sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt.
Witness! While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this.
Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple.
Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit.
contradictory stimulation.
Who wants coffee? Does anybody want coffee? Call a cop. Who wants coffee?
Well, thank you very much for the 10 gifted subs, Aki. Aki Orange is Borange. That puts us up to a level 3 hype train. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, you should absolutely go follow Aki. She is a pure delight. And right now she's in the middle of doing Retro March. I think she's still doing Virtual Boy games. I could be mistaken, but that was the last I knew as to what she was up to. Let me see. Do 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 do. That is the opposite of contradictory stimulation. All right. After my bath. After my bath, ad break. And thank you for the 15 stream streak. Desk, I do appreciate it. Also, thanks for snoozing the ads. It wasn't letting me because I used a lot of my snoozes yesterday. Oh well. I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple. You know, I should probably go do my frickin' job. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? That's one way to put it. If I was in your place, and it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court, and me seeing it fall from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Why don't you do something about that habit of yours? Finished my bath around 11 and thought I should return to the inner temple. Walking back with that sword. Staying in the corner room which faces out onto the courtyard. Stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. That's not right. No, body fell 10 feet after death. No.
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say, anyway.
Damn. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report?
The autopsy report?
The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed.
Ah!
That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Ah! The box is literally like most of the size of her. I can't get over that. Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? Type train complete. Level 3, 76%. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. But what a wonderful and lovely community we've got here. I will never get over it. Anyway.
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below.
No. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donim's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood?
Wah! No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. Oh, that's funny. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that...
I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure your honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed.
Indeed. With the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. Perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions.
Order, order, order! I must admit this is a very probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. We don't have to. You're already doing that on your own. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood.
Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here.
With the whip? As we consider that, we're on an ad break. We'll be right back. Good lord. we're back. Alrighty. With the whip. Maybe.
Oh boy. All right, all right.
Further details.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
You know, I could just be talking completely out of my mouth. I mean, obviously, but like talking out of my ass. I feel like there's more... I mean, there's probably definitely more to Elise than we know. But I feel like there's something else. Because Bikini, she's a nun. So she, like, works for the temple. She really believes in it and everything. I don't think she, you know, referred to Maya as a mystic or anything. She's just referring to her as an acolyte. Why does she keep referring to Elise as mystic? Because Mystic Ami, Ami's the founder of the Korean tradition. So that makes sense. But what does Elise have that makes her mystic? Like I said, I could just be completely talking out of my butt right now. But it's making me think. Something's not adding up. Or maybe it is. Anyway, that's just something that I'm thinking about. In the back of my head. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Further details. Sword was in place. Didn't actually see her stab her. Never seen so much blood before. So that would mean that you probably saw her pull it out? Is that what I'm getting?
Hold it!
I want more. Give me more. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too.
When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Yes. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding.
Well, well, I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman getting stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out.
Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine.
I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out.
Really? Are you sure? Ain't no way that all of this got through there. No,
Objection!
excuse me? Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What contradictions are you talking about?
In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. At that point, it wouldn't even be a stab wound because you got the different branches going through. It would just be like a whole wide-ass thing just because of all the different points that go through. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain.
Explain yourself!
To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear to be strong enough for that.
Objection! Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble? I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I so choose.
The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's what I'm saying.
That's...
We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
That's nothing more than conjecture.
In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
Objection!
Now who's speculating? Girl! I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more? This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it?
Ah!
If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No!
Order! Ah!
Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? You've proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer.
And that is?
The weapon used to kill the victim was not the shichishito.
What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool.
Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon?
Well, it's because Mystic Army was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shichishito was the murder weapon.
Order, order, wah! So maybe the shichishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything.
Did she, though? Did she, though? I mean, probably. She saw something, all right.
She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object.
That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises.
The obvious question?
Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found.
That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually.
What is it, sister?
I was just thinking it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what?
Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen?
Miles, she's not that old.
Just because she's like double your age doesn't mean anything. Okay, hang on. Wow, we don't have a profile for Edgeworth because we're playing as him, right? Well, him and Phoenix are the same age, so he's 26. Yeah, she's only barely double your age. She's not that old. Calm down.
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there,
Excuse me.
I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape, what with my back and my age, you know.
Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate.
Here is a photograph.
A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge.
Tracks photo added to the court record.
That solves your pesky little problem, yes? Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? I don't think so. Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Location of the weapon. Let me take a look. Something was bothering me about that picture. From main gate to Dusky Bridge. Then why does it look like it got pulled up to the main gate? I mean, wouldn't there be, like, more than one set of tracks if it did, like, a round trip to the bridge and then back?
Am I overthinking this? Maybe.
Let's see. Back at around 11 to the main gate. Saw a track. 5 minutes. Maybe they threw the weapon into the river and came back while I was knocked out. I don't think so, because I think this is just a singular set of tracks. Like, it only went one-way trip. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder.
You've finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth.
However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? Okay, so I'm not completely bonkers.
What do you mean?
Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back.
Ah, you're right.
You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it?
I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped. leaving just the return tracks in the snow.
What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth?
Is there a flaw in her theory? The idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. So Bikini says that she, that she saw what she saw at 11. Weather report. It only snowed up to 10:50. So that doesn't track. That doesn't track. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Ms. Von Karma, that is impossible.
Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction?
No need, the evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. The weather data. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Like I said, it was around 11.
Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report. Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks it made after that time to have been covered up. Ah! Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. I need a drink. That's better.
Ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct?
Ah, no, you've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data.
Yeah! Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m.
It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh?
What? How did she pull that off?
It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. Come this far, there's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony.
Huh. You cannot back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Let me look at this. Okay, so my thought, you can see the snow on everything else. Like, you can see the snow on the statue, you can see the snow on the rocks and everything. If it was still snowing when she was killed and, like, her body was just laying there, there'd be snow on her body. But there's not. Like, yeah, there's snow all over here, nothing here. I think this is what we need. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed.
That's right, but proving that is
incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow. With just one exception.
And that is?
The victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be 2 sets of tracks.
Ah!
Order, order! Just what are you...
Yeah! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. Bzzz. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing.
Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow.
Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, bzzz, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile.
Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder.
Which can only mean, that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. So she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds right.
But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge.
You must have just failed to see it, sister.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
Yeah, just like we saw it when we showed up. But that isn't possible. Order, order, order in the court. What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. Never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness.
Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. Only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
Excellent news! We know an idiot!
Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really?
You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Something smells. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deladuc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Stonim. Her student? Interesting. Why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. Larry, this is an intervention. You need to stop breaking people's necks. What are you talking about? Larry! What? Larry! Larry, this is an intervention. You need to stop being a creep toward women. What are you talking about? How you doing, baby? Larry! What? Snaps picture of Elise. Larry! Whenever anybody just says his name like that, that's all I can think of is just that ASDF movie bit. Larry! Just the yelling his name right before he gets his own neck snapped. It's so good. It's so good. I have a raging skeleton in my back pocket. Fran whips the daylights out of him. Oh god, I'd love to see that. And we probably will. But first, ad breaks. They're fun. Fun for the whole family. Unless they're not. I don't know. I don't get them. It's my show. We're back. I don't get them either. I am subbed. Love that for you. And between yesterday and today, thanks to Aki and Alexandria, quite a few people don't get them. But I'm sure there's still people who do. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. Court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Ms. Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Everybody go play on the swings and the slides and stuff. Oh. Oh. Oops.
I didn't realize it would be that short. Oh no. Oh god. Well, that's a bit embarrassing there. Ad break right before the end. Keep going. More Balatro, LMAO. I mean, we can keep going if you guys want to. I have a couple of drinks. I just might be very worn down by Larry's voice by the end of it. Alrighty. February 9th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. I mean, Balatro would be great because we don't know when the next, to be continued comes up. I mean, that's true. It is very true. Alright, you know what? We will keep going, not with this, but probably we will switch to Balatro. Or at least something just to go for a little bit longer. Because like I said, I don't... If I'm being honest, I don't think I'm gonna be up for doing Larry's voice tonight. Because it's a lot of this. Which is totally fine and good, but only when I know it's coming. Which I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when it was coming. So, I guess we will be back in a few moments while I try to get that set up. And by try to get that set up, I mean I'll get it set up. But, yeah, give me just a few minutes for that. We'll be right back. Again. And next time, Edgeworth, you'll get to ask Iris the things. The things that you want to ask. Yes, I want to go back to the title screen. I don't mind losing my unsaved progress of 2 screens worth of things.